What's up, Pickleballers? Today's guest is Rafael Filippini. He is the CEO of Gearbox, the mastermind, the evil genius behind these new Pro Series paddles that we're going to talk about. Rafa, it's great to have you on the pod.
Awesome, Tyler. Glad to be here. That's quite the introduction.
Thanks.
Certainly. Happy to be here, and thank you.
So, what is the most, if you were to bottom line this into the three most important things people need to know about this new Pro Series, what are they?
I think the best way to sum this paddle up is that we have taken every aspect of the game, that a player is looking for in a paddle. And what do I mean by that? Power, control, they have spin, weight for maneuverability, the rotational weight, which is something new that people are talking about. So with this paddle, we took every category and maximized it so you can feel the entire benefit of the paddle. And I think that is what is truly separating this new line, and particularly the power paddles, because they just have that little extra power. And where in the past, some paddles may have power, but you can't control it, or they have a lot of control and they don't have the power, or they have spin, but also lack power or other areas, or the size of the sweet spot. So with these paddles, we've maximized every area. And so every ball that you're hitting, it's just as close to perfection as you can be in today's, paddle. So, or where the game is today. So I think that makes a player appreciate the product so much better. And it's such an easier transition, and it makes you as the player a better player just instantly, because you're maximizing even if you miss off center, it doesn't matter. The ball's still going to travel at a reasonable rate, and you're going to have a straight shot. You're going to have plenty of spin, and so there's a lot of larger margin for error, but you still look like you're hitting the sweet spot most of the time. So I would say that would be the number one factor and contributor to this new line.
I mean, that's phenomenal. And as a player, I feel like we're always looking to get better, always looking for that next paddle. These paddle reviews have been tremendous. How were you able to accomplish that?
Well, honestly, it's the the technology that goes behind it, the design. I've always been a proponent of using carbon fiber or fibrous materials, whether it's carbon fibers, Kevlar, or fiberglass, another type of fibrous materials, but in the technique. So rather than doing a sandwich structure like honeycomb, which are very rudimentary, I would say, now we're getting into more complicated structures, more like a carbon fiber bikes. You'll see it in if Formula One cars, or just higher performance techniques and materials to maximize the performance of the product.
Wow, unreal, Rafa. And this SST core is slightly different than the SST cores of the past. Can you talk about this one? I know you've touched on it before, but could you shine light on this one?
We have I guess matched what the players are looking for today in terms of performance, power, control, spin, and all of those things. So our initial core was, we built it initially to solve a problem about 6-7 years ago, which were paddles were breaking all of the time. So we built the core to prevent delamination, the voids that were occurring on the paddles, the separation of the faceplate to the honeycomb core. And then 6 years ago, paddles, you'd stare at it kind of long enough, you could almost break it just by staring at around the throat area. So but now so there's a lot of breakage issues. So that was sort of the first solution with the SST, is make a durable paddle that didn't break down. It performed well, I think it was probably a little bit ahead of its time in terms of the power and the thing. So, yeah, so the difference of today's SST core is that we've matched it to be softer, to absorb more energy in return at the same time, and then we quieted it down, and then we put the necessary speed back into the ball that today's players, what they're requesting or what they're looking for in the game. And not only that, we've also maximized the spin, increased the size of the sweet spot. And how did we do it? We did it with the further manipulation of fiber angles that, I've talked about in the past. And there's a lot of videos online on fiber angles and stiffness and bending and torsion and things like that. So, and then the on the pro paddle, the pro power paddle, we went even further and created micro cores, right? So we divided the cores, instead of being a single core throughout the whole paddle, we created 7 micro cores. So there's like different cores inside the paddle. So that allows it, they're broken up into sections. So it allows the ball to kind of have this independent feel. So by breaking up the core that way, we get rid of twist. So we can have a very low weight or rotational weight and keep a very stable paddle. So yeah, mainly it was the manipulation of the SST. We broke it up into sections. We've added materials to quiet it down. We've added damping materials, damper materials to reduce vibration. And I think all of those things working together create this feel and obviously the performance that you're seeing in these pro paddles.
And speaking of weights, this paddle comes in at 8 ounces flat. I know in the past it was 8.5. So what made you guys go for the 8 mark this time around?
Well, we did that because I want to give players a base, because a few years ago, I would say 2 years ago, you talked about lead and weighing up the paddles with, some kind of a, metal, whether it's, lead is the most common, but people weren't really dialed into weighing up their paddles or, manipulating the weight with additional external adding, with lead in this case. But today, I think most people understand that they can take a base paddle at 8 ounces and begin to manipulate the balance, adding weight away from the center of the paddle to make it more stable, add weight to the top to increase the swing weight for more power. So we left that at 8 ounces to provide at minimum a half ounce of play, to customize the paddle to get it more to what you like. So if you're looking for more stability, then add weight at the sides. If you're looking for more power, add weight at the top. You're looking for just more even balance and more control and stable paddle, and add it near the, the throat area or above the throat. So yeah, it gives you a lot more customization features to really dial this paddle into your style of play.
Okay, that's a fantastic answer. Makes a lot of sense. And then as far as the handle, the thickness, this one is thicker than handles in the past. Is correct?
No, they're actually 3 5/8 below, but we have these covers that go in. So everything we mold into 3 5/8. So if you want, there's players that are coming in from badminton, from racquetball, table tennis. They're not used to the tennis size sort of handles,
sure.
Right? They're 4 1/4 up to 4 3, 3/4. So we made it at 4 ounces. 4 ounces, 4 inches in circumference, and so that I think it's a very, again, broad. It covers 70% of the market, and they're comfortable with that. If you want to build it up, you can certainly build it up by adding, some. One additional wrap, maybe you wrap one of the thin wraps to prevent sweat and overwrap, they call it, and So you can do that, and that increases. And in general, most people are comfortable with that. But those that are looking for further customization, again, they can do it. And if you want to make it smaller, unwrap the grip, take the covers off, and now you've got a paddle with a handle that's going to be more in line with a badminton racquetball and those smaller handles.
Interesting. Okay, so from the base 4 inches, you can remove the cover and take off something and then rewrap it, and that kind of takes off some inches or a quarter inch.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, it does. Yeah, and that's the molded. That's the carbon fiber. When you remove those covers, now that's our base carbon fiber molded section, and then with the covers, we actually I have some prototype covers that I did that you can, rather than wrapping more grips, you're going to be able to just switch these covers out and make different sizes. So, I want 4 1/4. Well, then take cover. Cool. I want 4 1/8. We'll take cover B, kind of a thing, right? It makes it easy customization. Yeah,
cool. Really like it. The most requested question. I don't know if you're going to believe this, but people think this paddle is so overpowered. Is there any risk of this getting banned?
Well, I obviously we didn't talk about what the interview was going to be about, but I kind of had a hunch that we might get the question.
It wasn't even coming from me. It was just it was totally a fan question. This was what people wanted to hear.
Yeah. So let me share, and people can find this with John Q's. If you look at his review of the paddle, he's a more technical individual. He went in and actually, put in data for miles per hour on serve. He did data on punch volleys, for how hard the paddle hit. And he also did spin rates. And so he got into the technical side of it, and we did not pay him. We do not, these are things that an individual's doing on his own, right? And he's providing this information back to the industry. So we've been getting, it's like, wow, this paddle is powerful, and it is powerful. It is a paddle that I would say, and here, rather than me saying, can I share my screen here and show you?
That'd be awesome.
Speed in miles per hour was 59.7. And then 59 miles an hour was actually 58.8 was the lowest. These EVA non-legal paddles. Our paddles, the 2 pro paddles came in at 57.7 and 57.9, which is I'm going to say 1 mile an hour less, right? And then we had our control paddles that came in at 56, and then the next paddle that is the fastest paddle, according to his report here, he has an Electrum E model at 55.6. So we're essentially 2 miles an hour faster than the fastest paddle, that's on this list. And then the one subsequent to that Electrum, they have a Pro Drive Ghost, a Pro Drive Carbon, and those are all. It's 55.8, 55.7, 55.6, 55.6, just they're all right in that range. We came in, 2 miles an hour more. The next section that he has a punch volley list. And in the punch volley list, I'm pulling that one up, we're actually not the fastest paddle there either. So in the punch volley list, he has paddles that are, I'm going to pull up the one with our data in it, but actually the fastest paddle in the punch volley list is the Pro Kenix Ace Pro, which is at 37.4, right? Our Gearbox Power Fusion is at 36.8, and in our elongated is at 36.6 and 35, and the others are right around that same range. Actually, Selkirk has a paddle that's right around 35. And the point that I'm getting at is we're right within range of paddles that exist already.
Sure.
And this is the point that I made before, is it's not that we're faster or that much faster, or in fact, in the punch volleys, we have less power according to John's data, so, and we're 2 miles an hour faster on when you're driving the ball, right? If you're in the back and you drive it, it's 2 miles an hour, but we're not, we're inching on the illegal EVA paddles, but we're well below. We sort of, according to him, we found our own little group, right? You have EVA legal paddles, and then you have the fastest honeycomb paddles, and then we found our little niche. Just it's right above it.
So credit to you, credit to your design skill. I mean, this paddle, everyone's talking about it. So very well done.